What's happening? How's it going, guys? Hello. Oh, I got a delay. Crap. Who am I playing live on? Nope. YouTube. Anyhow. YouTube, Kick, Rumble. I got you all popped out. That's what he said. Yeah, so I got all your chats popped out. Odyssey, go fuck yourself. Oh, what about Twitch? This is a movie, so you know I gotta bring Twitch out. Twitch, even though you hardly pay shit. Let's see. No, Twitch, you awesome girl. I love you. Let's see here. Where's the pop out for that? I'm gonna go to the creator dashboard. Sorry about this. Sorry about this. Yeah, there's some over here too. Don't you forget about Twitch. Twitch has been there almost as long as YouTube. It stayed with you even in the hard times. After YouTube kicked you to the curb, Sleazy. Yeah. Anyhow. Did I just refer to myself as Sleazy? I'm sorry. All right. What have we got here? What? No money? You fucks. I've waited for Sleazy to bless me with an award-winning crack all week. This is not the show. It's not the show. Sorry to say. Right. Anyhow, yet another installment of What'd You Do in the GWAR Daddy. This being about the film Skulhedface, if you can call it that. This in many ways is a continuation. Awesome. What did I just miss? Hype Train. Sweet. Hype Train's coming on Twitch. Alvman. Throwing some bits. Much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, VJ. Much appreciated. Excellent. So... Yeah, this movie is very much a continuation of the same kind of mindset and creative process that drove Phallus and Wonderland. A lot of people trying to shoehorn their ideas, into a project. Thank you, Krogon1. Let me move this Streamlabs viewer over a little bit. Oh man, Chooch, thank you so much. Like I said, Lord HP. Look at all these people. 11 Show 11. Awesome, thank you. Yes, Scoos Radamus has subscribed to Tier 1 for 9 months. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Gert, much appreciated. Much appreciated. Steve D. Martin, 5 spot for you. What are you sipping on, man? I hate to break it to you. Iced tea. Iced tea. I don't drink in the office either. I don't drink and I don't smoke in the office. That's the way it goes. But I vape. Leaf pile crawl space. It's a tough draw, but I make it work. Anyhow, same sort of process. A lot of people try to shoehorn their ideas into the project in a way You remember that episode where the funniest joke in history is written? You know, the one on South Park, which is, you know, you like fish sticks. You like putting fish sticks in your mouth. What are you, gay fish? And how Cartman thought he wrote that joke, right? In a way, Slave Pit kind of operates in that way too, in that a lot of people, you know, imagining or thinking that, you know, they were the driving influencer on many specific aspects of GWAR or projects or whatever. So with that in mind, you got to think that there was all these different ways in which ideas would take root, okay? And Skulhedface it's the way it came together conceptually is a good example of that. So somebody carved a foam skull, and I don't even remember who it was, and it wasn't very good, and we didn't take it seriously, kind of, you know, and we didn't. It was made out of foam, and it really was an old technology that we weren't going to use in any aspect on stage or anything. And so it was just sort of like this throwaway thing. We weren't going to use it. It wasn't something that was of any value, basically, other than to goof around with in the workspace. And so Bobby Gorman took it and put it on his head, right? And it was supposed to be a prop skull. I don't think it was ever intended to be a mask or a helmet, but it did fit over his head, you know, and so it ended right here, and the real mouth was down below, and he started riffing on this character. You know, I'm Skullhead, you know. And then we, of course, were kind of making fun of how in Japan they have those really on-the-nose, sort of overly repetitive names for characters. Speed Racer being, of course, a perfect example. Speed Racer, you know. Inspector Detector. And so, you know, we started adding names to him. Professor Dr. Skullhead Face, you know, and that was kind of the comedy riff we were doing with this thing. It was this, we were just wearing this mask, and it started turning into, you know, it started turning into a character. To be honest, and you can see it right here, Binky in the Brain was big, and we were catching that. And I can't help but think subconsciously, in a way, this character is very much Binky. The Brain. And in fact, that's what we were thinking. It was supposed to be, it was very much Binky the Brain, which is, you know, there's nothing new about that. It's Dr. Frankenstein and his assistant, Igor, right? This sort of thing has, you know, there's nothing absolute, they're archetypal. But, you know, for some reason we just couldn't let it go. We just kept riffing on this, and so as it evolved, you know, we started thinking more seriously about this as a real, like a version of it, making it into a real character, right? So mentally, I'm riffing on that with Bob. Then at the same time, me and Chuck Varga are riffing on this whole idea of Gizmoglobin. Gizmoglobin, Boss Glom, Glomco, you know. Like that came out of essentially this idea of, you know, us wishing that a large company would come and invest a shit ton of money in us, you know, like out of nowhere. It's Frankenstein, says Pallid Mask. Great movie. Anyhow, you know, somebody would dump him a Boss Glomco, you know, was going to come around. We were always like Winterland. When we first met the guy who ran Winterland, I forgot his name. And literally, I forgot, he was the boss of it, and he had goddamn picture. It was 6x6, 8x8 canvas, a close-up of his head, a painting, and he had it behind his desk. Like, how egotistical can you be? That's why Sleazy has one behind his desk. I'll never forget that guy, meeting him, and him, you know, blowing smoke up our, you know, figuratively blowing smoke up our ass. I think you're going to be big. Maybe you could do this. Maybe you could do that. I see something here. You know. So, you know, that Winterland contract, we learned a lot about how the biz works. And yeah, we stupidly took that large advance, and we just kind of just folded it into our operating expenses. You know, like, oh, here's 75 grand. Now we can go buy a whole bunch of more props and costumes, or make costumes, and, you know, and bring more people in, and more expensive this. And, you know, it's just sort of like, you know, we're thinking as a business, you know, like this is just the beginning of what would be more like this, you know. And as we learned, our merch didn't sell particularly fast, and they got you on the fucking hook until you recoup. So, you know, it was 150 front, and it was 75 up front and 75 in the tail end, and for a total of 150. But that tail end, the second 75, wasn't coming for ages till you basically, you know, paid off the first half. And but we didn't stop us from thinking somehow, you know, Walt Disney is going to want to work with us. Yeah. Anyhow, so Gizmoglobin was this idea, this kind of cross between, as Chuck would put it, cool points. You know, Chuck, Hunter, they would refer to that as cool points in terms of, you know, in terms of social credit, you know. And Gizmoglobin is also this thing that's basically, I guess you could describe it as, you know, in Kung Fu, your chi, you know. It's also, obviously, it sounds like sperm, and it's just machismo and all these vague kind of concepts of what a big rock star has, you know. A great rock star is full of gizmoglobin, is what we called it. And so as we talked about it more and more, it became kind of like this currency, you know, this thing that you can, yeah, some people have much more than others, and they can hoard it or whatever. Blue Raja, tribute to the artistic genius, Don. Keep metal history alive. Thank you very much, Blue. Much appreciated. Jeremy Rushing. Everybody rip everybody else off. Yeah. Anyhow. Once Skulhedface was over, now it was time for our second long form video for Middle Blade. I don't know why they were. I guess maybe they made some money on Phallus. I don't know if they did or not, but anyways, we were getting a much bigger budget this time around. I think it was 100 even. I believe it was 100. And early on, so I was effects coordinator on it, and also, you know, budget, in charge of the budget, or producer, I guess you would say, ultimately. And the whole way this thing came together, it had a real strange way. A lot of the people that I brought into the project sort of backfired on me. You know, I got in touch with this guy who was a big time used camera equipment buyer trader. He was a real whiz kid technically. Thank you for following, Memnor, and he was an expert in all kinds of equipment. And my argument with the rest of the gang is, hey, for $100,000, let's not rent this package. Let's buy it. Somehow we get something used. We'll come out of this and we'll have some equipment that we can continue to work with. Originally the plan was, though, to get something, a good 16 camera, probably another CP16, because that's what we shot Phallus with, I believe. The CP16 is a adequate, but basically was known as a news camera. Back in the old days, in the 70s, they weren't running around with video cameras in the field. 60s and 70s, they weren't running around with video cameras in the field. Those things were too big and heavy. They were running around with what were known as CP16s, which were kind of box-like, but they fit on the shoulder, and they shot 16 millimeter film. Then they would process that stuff and it get turned into, transferred to the news. Here's a $5. Don't read. Oh, okay. Sorry. Thanks, Zarya. Hot shot with the budget, says Ep911. Oh, that was a crazy. That went all over the place too. It was just, this film was, getting through it was so nuts, man. I just had so many crazy fucked up things happen to me, and other people did as well on this project. Anyhow, what was I talking about? So yeah, this guy brought him in, and I also brought the person who ended up directing it, Melanie Mandel, along. And unfortunately, I made a mistake. I fall asleep in cars, so Melanie and him really hit it off, and so he became much more connected to her, than he was to me, even though I was the one who originally got in touch with him and brought him into the project. But anyhow, we would drive down to North Carolina. We'd look at this equipment this guy was selling, and man, he had some crazy old stuff, man. And the way we shot this was with I believe it was a Panavista, old time, big old studio style movie camera. I mean, this is for shooting good TV shows. This is stuff the way Star Trek was probably shot. Those shows that were shot in color in the 60s were shot on these. These things are known to be, they're super big, super heavy, but they have rock solid roller, they call it a gate, the pin, the whole system, the way it works. It makes a big difference. You don't realize it, but, the mechanism for pulling through each frame and making sure it's locked in precisely like the previous one is, prevents that shuddering. And the cheaper, the crappier the camera. Subconsciously you don't realize. Subconsciously you realize it, but consciously a lot of times you don't notice it. You just realize, oh, this looks cheap, and you don't even realize why. Well, that's one of the reasons why. So the camera was top notch. However, it was extremely limiting. We had to work, so we worked inside and we worked in our studio. And luckily, we have paved floor, and so we were able to either just have a tripod shot and or dollies with tracks, but it was on concrete. We didn't go outdoors with that camera, basically. But the whole way the thing was written was you can tell too. I wrote basically until the boardroom scene was over, and Dave wrote basically the rest. Dave wrote the rest. Who was going to direct it was a big battle, or you could tell. Initially, initially it was when there was a discussion, me, Hunter, Dave, and the way the discussion went was how I figured it would, and that was Dave said, he's going, wonder who shall direct the film, and it was obvious that the two likely candidates was either me or Hunter, right? And so he was going to do his divide and conquer strategy. He was going to, like, this was his decision to make. I don't know why it was, but he had a tendency to take command in these kind of situations, assert himself, in these situations, and so he decided it was up to him. Yes. Who should direct the film? And I what I thought he would do is exactly what he did. He goes, I think Hunter. And what he wanted me to do is go, no, fuck you, I should direct. The thing was that I'd already taken appraisal of the situation. There was a lot more about this film that needed a lot of attention than just directing it, right? I was already had a lot on my plate because really I was the de facto effects coordinator, which was going to be huge on this film. It was, making sure that everything that went in front of the camera, effects-wise, was going to be ready, and the overall look and planning and all that, budgeting for that. I knew I had my plate full, and so when he said that, I just went, okay. And I could tell he just went, oh, damn, now what am I going to do? So his next plan was basically the girl that made friends with the cinematographer who we would ride down to look at equipment with. He basically, sort of like waited for a while for Hunter to become disengaged from the project. And that was the thing, is like Hunter became obsessed with the animation sequence in this film, which was the GWAR babies. It was weird. It was kind of weird in that he pulled back and he just focused on that. Let's see here. You'll see it in the movie, of course, and I'll bring it up. But these guys right here, let's see here. Scooby-Dooby-Doo-Wah-da-ba-da-ba-doo. There's a desktop. Isn't where it's supposed to be? Okay. So yeah, these aren't even his drawings. It looks like somebody redid them. Anyhow. But basically, yeah, there they are. There's the actual Hunter Jackson drawing, right? But so Hunter is in charge of directing, and he kind of pulls back and spends a lot of time working on this. Animation is really time consuming. And so here he is. He's very focused on this kind of like a kind of a minute aspect of, excuse me, let me get my cursor over here. And I can reduce this. So he's pulled back and he's just focusing on this. And so Dave uses this opportunity to come in and go, maybe we could use some help on the directing, because we gotta get blah, 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 blah. And he appoints this girl that I was talking about that rode down with us. And she's very inexperienced. She's never never directed really anything of note. She worked with video at VCU in the sculpture department, which I didn't understand why you could get you could turn in projects in the sculpture department with video, by doing video. That seemed like a film department thing or a media department thing. I didn't understand that. But anyhow, yeah, he's going to play it, says Ep911. I'm running my mouth. Okay, I'll wind this up. But anyhow, so, and tell the rest of the stuff, you know, as the movie plays. But essentially Dave's plan was, she was young, she was inexperienced, and he was going to direct from the back seat, which he proceeded to do, you know, at points during the course of the movie. You know, she would say something, and she was feeling her weight. You know, she totally loved this unexpected, you know, amount of attention and power that she got, you know, by being appointed to this role. And so Dave would, you know, he would give orders over her shoulder. I could hear her go, oh. It was okay. As far as I'm concerned, it was like, let the cinematographer, you know, follow maybe some of his instincts. Cinematographers usually know how to get what you need. And, you know, us, the effects and all the technical aspects of the film will make it happen. And you know, we'll fix in the mix. We'll get it done in the editing. But this film has a definitely, I would say, it's a primarily me, Dave sort of brainstorm kind of a amalgamation, right? But one way or another, the whole story was invented by basically elements. All the elements of it came from me, Chuck, and Bobby Gorman, right? I was surprised that Dave let us basically bring this thing. He was skeptical at first, but then once we basically kept doing tabletop brainstorm sessions and working out the project and the ideas and the designs, you know, we won him over. And then he really learned to love it, because of course I threw up this idea about Flopsy the cunt-faced boy, and boy did he like that. And then he took it from there. That was his design, his baby, his everything. It was played by Bobby. But I was looking through some of these pictures, and you can see some production pictures of other things. But this is a long story. This Skullhead is for stage, not for the movie. All right. But yeah, we'll just roll the movie then, and I might come back to some pictures later on. Good, does have audio. Great. Saddest thing about this is it was shot on a beautiful 35 print, and I think we lost it. I don't know if we ever recovered it. It's just one of those things. It's like somebody, I thought you had it. I thought you knew where it was. You know, it's like we didn't even think about it. What happened to the 35 print till, you know, years after the film had been edited. And yeah, there was a lot of other aspects that were, you know, when it came out, it was late. That was almost a year. We finished it almost a year before we released it. And one of the reasons why was because we wanted to do a theatrical release. And we were talking to Troma. This was going to be a Troma picture. And our idiot manager at the time brought up merchandising conflicts with Winterland possibly being an issue, which was stupid. There's no need to bring in Winterland. You know? It's like Troma would make some fucking goofy keychains and Pez dispensers. They're not going to be making T-shirts. You know? All Wonderland does is T-shirts.
Or anywhere else. GWAR.
It should have been a go ahead and do it and then ask for permission later. This was all shot in 2010, Chamberlain. Yeah, back to that. That delayed it for years. We were waiting to try to hopefully put together a theater release, and it never happened. And finally, it was like, okay, let's finally put it out. The album had already been out for a long time. And, I'm going to turn this down a bit. But the album had been out for a long, you know, I guess almost a year.
Beefcake the Mighty here. You know, one of the greatest.
So, World Maggot, that's a Dave concept, and it's one of those things that he brings up in a interview, and then it's sort of like, oh, you know, this became part of our mythos because somebody said it in an interview, right? And so we're like, you know, oh, how would this work? You know, we started incorporating. This is really the first incorporation or conception of the World Maggot. Right here. Cool little hand puppet. I think that was done by Hunter. It was a Hunter hand puppet.
When the maggot is stuffed with your souls, it shall awaken, and riding it, using convenient maggot saddles, we shall escape your miserable planet.
Hey, Odorous, some guy just called, said he's gonna kill his whole family.
And this is the curse of Phallus. He's always played by someone else. He was played by Jeff Romano in Phallus, and then he's played by this guy Strauss, who is a friend of the band's, who incidentally happened to be along with that infamous Pete Lee shooting. And that's why we had to use him, because Pete Lee had been shot.
Is something wrong? With
Timmy? The infamous shooting that happened.
Go, Turtles. Find Timmy.
There's a guy, Lefty. That's Brad's wife, Amy, our drummer. Always a family affair. Always friends and family, you know, basically being in these films. And that's the real dog, Caesar. He spent some time at the fucking slave pit. He scared me. That was Brad's dog.
That's Turtles the Wonder Dog. Watch
A Dave Brocky
whenever it's on.
Parody
So, how do you feel
TV show idea.
Man, this is real action. Another shipwreck for the world of maggot funners.
This is our friend Heath. All right, the infamous Jello Biafra.
Well, who could possibly have an explanation for this?
So this part is written by Scott Kroll. Just this one little part.
Radicals cannot use the media to bring about a
And
situation.
the joke was these people speak in totally almost incomprehensible corporatese, and we were going to have translations at the bottom. That's the only reason why I agreed to letting him.
Off unwanted surplus by introducing mechanically separated enhancement refeed programs that increases the grain to bovine caloric ratio.
Yeah, this sort of stuff was supposed to have a translation that was making a joke, you know, out of it.
While third-party agencies maintain.
Then after it was edited, it came back, and I was like, "Where's the translation text?" And she said, "Oh, well, it was too complicated. We didn't feel, you know, it was some lame excuse. Obviously, she just changed her mind." Or basically didn't leave themselves enough time, or forgot about it. That's probably what happened. They edited the whole scene, and when they were ready to lay in, you know, and they should have been ready to lay in the text, nobody had worked on that.
Dissipating any deviant focus.
This completely incomprehensible gobbledygook dialogue. This, and of course, that's Matt McGuire, by the way.
I programmed preemptive counterattacks and targeted niche markets with surgical standoff merchandising. We destroyed all collateral damage to our over-the-counter federal programming.
The bottom line,
He's Native American.
gentlemen, is our failure to secure ownership of all broadcast media. As long as this
Not
network
racist
of
at all.
pirate stations continues to broadcast, and our program of entertainment homogenization.
These movies made it to MTV, GWAR would have had
Consumer
private
market
jets.
homogenization is the cornerstone of our ability to sell limited conflict scenarios to the
I think we were always kind of
Not
a
their food, no.
acquired
Not
taste,
their
that,
fun,
honestly.
but their attitudes towards us determine their free
I may
will.
be wrong,
And if our carefully constructed new world order should become infected
Tim
by this kind of
Jenkins,
cynicism,
Dave's
imagine
one of
not only
Dave's
the
best
damage done
friends,
to our entire
playing this
market
guy
share of
again.
homogenized music,
I think he does a
collateral
great
damage
job
as well
delivering
to our
these
entire
lines.
media integrity.
What about eliminating
That's Hunter Jackson.
prejudice? Isn't this our normal method for dealing with the problem artists?
No, no, no. Simple elimination precipitates a martyr backlash which is useless to us without ownership of all residuals. As long as the slave pit concept remains outside of our ownership, it remains a threat.
Then perhaps appropriate with extreme prejudice would be more appropriate. Gentlemen, it would appear that we are in a bit of an agreement.
I agree.
That's Bob Gorman.
What is our contingency course of action?
What about contacting GWAR's manager for some face-to-face negotiation?
Classic
What about some
sexism.
face-to-face merger negotiations with Sleazy P. Martini?
Excellent suggestion. How soon can this be arranged?
I set an appointment for 1,300 hours today.
Excellent work, Mr. Purvis.
Mr. Purvis, because he was that crazy A&R guy who worked for Master, who's almost set our bus on fire. Right. So we named that character after him.
Easy P. Martini?
That's right.
Gee, do you really own GWAR?
Yeah, I own GWAR. I'm the fucking manager.
Mr. Martini, I must congratulate you on having created such an innovative concept.
Yes, barbarians from outer space playing heavy metal, joining your comic with nerds and metalheads together under one product banner. Your demographics were right on target.
Hey, asshole, them or whatever's had nothing to do with it. GWAR's for real, man.
Come now, Mr. Martini. We are not your pimply-faced teenage fans.
And this ain't your typical poser band whipped up by a bunch of D&D playing art school flunkies. I had to go to the ends of the earth.
So overacted. I love bad effects like this. Talk about SNL. That's the way they would have done that effect. Then we found it one day it was snowing. We found a hill. So you get the, horizon line. As long as you don't have any trees in the shot, which is hard in Virginia. That's the best we could do. Some hill I come over in costume. What's that? Oh, yeah. Shelter. A shame was that we had stuff like this built for this film, and then we just kind of put it away and never used it again. It wasn't until we did Immortal Corruptor, I said, man, why we got all this great shit. And people, we could recycle it and have more GWAR, GWAR Fortress kind of scenes, man. Just take the stuff and just glue it together, man. Mix and match. We had sections of wall that were about 12 by 12. And it was 10 by 10. Yeah, it's 10 by 10. And columns.
Death to the fighter.
User not found. Love this movie. It's either this or it's sleazy. Well, considering the amount of work we put into this one, it hurts that It's Sleazy is that popular in comparison. You know,
For whomever shall awaken GWAR
Sleazy was much more of a shoot on the cheap.
Excellent point, Ballsack.
Flo, there you go. How about you? Yeah, sure you do. There you go. Flo. Sleazy's the name. Glad to meet you.
What do we do?
We should remix that music.
What's Sleazy?
What's wrong with it?
So,
Metal?
anyways,
Should be metal or something like that.
without
Probably would have been
blowing the
better.
whole story, they did align with me, and we've become the baddest band on air, sea, or land.
Mr. Martini, in the entertainment industry, exciting origin stories are like assholes. Perhaps parts of your origin are a little too exciting.
Yes, too exciting.
We've been observing the development of your...
Jello loved playing this character.
And we think you're
He
ready
insisted
for
on
the
method
next
acting. He
step.
did not want anybody to refer to him by his
I
real
agree.
name
They're
while he
ready
was
for the
on
next
set
step.
in
Our
costume.
consultants could give your band the kind of mainstream accessibility that would increase its market share and profit margin by tenfold.
The European market is opening up and ripe for sowing the seeds of future exploitation.
And I'll tell you, if these guys do a cover of On the Road Again or Achy Breaky Heart, I can see to it that they get airplay on country western stations.
If you have them incorporate more sample scratching and other hip-hop techniques, my people are prepared to push them in the R&B and rap markets.
Gentlemen, if you would consult your sales figures, you would see that that aspect of GWAR's career simply isn't worth pursuing. We have other ideas.
It's just said we can't sell music.
We will show you.
Here we go. It's what Hunter's been working on. Weeks he worked on this. He loved doing animation though. This, of course, is a cover of one of our songs, We're GWAR, done by Mike Dirks.
A GWAR cartoon show is just the beginning. We'll flood
The market with merchandise. There'll be GWAR action figures, stuffed dolls, pajamas, videotapes, lunchboxes, vitamins, towels, bedspreads, and coloring books. The possibilities are endless. Our marketing analysts have consumer tested the entire product line, and we'll be ready with an immediate launch date.
And all we need from you, Mr. Martini, is ownership of Slave Pit Incorporated.
His makeup is excellent. That is Nick Galatzine, the guy I brought in to help with the effects.
GWAR will never sell.
He helped put in the animatronics for Skulhedface. We learned a lot from him. We had a lot of conflict with him. We also learned a lot from him.
Throw down some chump change, and I'm gonna sign just like that. GWAR is the biggest thing in the history of music. Bigger than that. Okie dokie.
Excellent, Mr. Martini. You are indeed a shrewd businessman.
Not my signature.
There is, however, one stipulation in the contract which must be
Pickup
carried
shot.
out before payment can commence.
You see, we spent millions designing a new media image for GWAR.
We wouldn't want any actual living members running around doing things that would be,
Shall we say, counterproductive to that image?
So what are you saying? You want me to waste GWAR? I got an idea. Why don't you fat fucks do it yourself?
There'd be some heavy-duty banging, smashing, like they're coming through. There's no smashing. It didn't make any sense. And then just... Picky! Sorry. Like, that should have sounded like there was, you know, hammering and stuff going through the roof. Whatever.
Hi there. Really, Mr. Martini, no need for in-costume appearances here. It's not going to sweeten our deal one iota.
Had to get his ass in the shot. That was the joke, of course.
Well, if you insist. Let's see how papier-mâché armor and rubber swords fare against real heavy metal.
Oh, the old reverse shot.
You men with such lousy heads.
So this whole scene here and the following scene consumed a fuck ton of my time. I'm not saying I did everything, I didn't. But, you know, basically making this stuff go off, especially this whole boardroom, you know, effect. Make sure that everything was ready to go. And I think for about, 30 days, that was the hardest I ever worked in my whole life. It was always a lot of hard work, but that 30 days was just like, you know, kind of no sleep. No sleep at all work. This is the funniest effect in the movie, and it was an accident. Total accident. It's supposed to shoot a whole bunch of gunk out of them, and it didn't work, and all it did was the gas built up in this thing, and it looked like he had a prolapse rectum, which was fucking, to me, way funnier. And we kept it, you know, but it was supposed to, like, eject a bunch of gore. Instead, giant gas bubble, rectum come out, man. I specifically sculpted it and built this effect here. Excuse me, I did not. That was a Dave Brocky effect. This is the effect I worked on. This is a life cast of Tim Jenkins.
That was fun. Let's eat.
What is all this? The main communication feed, Master.
Hook it up to our equipment.
Yes, and flood the world with filth.
Blothar still sounded like this, I'd be a lot more into it.
The revolution will be televised. Slave Pit TV is taking over.
I'm talking about that singing style in that last song. Yeah, it does tear up his voice.
They seek to escape by design.
So, to do this effect, we discovered this guy is just a great sculptor. He just came out of nowhere to help out. And I said, can you do Skullhead face in miniature? Like 1/3 size? So that's what we had. We had him inside. We put that mask inside of a gelatin and latex mask. Boss Glom. And we inflated it and had him rip off the skin. Of course, it was hidden by the editing to a certain degree. The thing I hated about this part is it comes out, he's bone dry. It's like, come on, man, he just tore his face off.
With your host,
It irked me,
the
but
Sex Accused.
those are details that I think of.
Welcome to Sexy Cooking. Today, we are going to be making one of my personal favorites, Sexecutive Delight.
Well, gotta go.
So that's Pete Lee's voice, but Strauss is
I give you the anterior region
Strauss is the actor.
Maximus. Peel away the membrane, revealing the steamy nut law. Delightful.
You never seen this film before? Thank you much, Don. Oh, wow. Surprised. It's on YouTube for free. I'm not sure exactly how you find it in the search.
You a lot of other shit.
I haven't had any trouble.
A tale of suburban terror that will force you to
People
look
love
at
this
things
sketch.
in black and
This
white.
is a Dave sketch.
Lawn jockey. What happens when a family of white supremacists fires their black maid?
Fuck y'all.
What happens when she's really
Kitty. That was her name. Not what you'd expect. Kitty.
The result is terror as lawn jockey takes a black man's vengeance on white man's world.
I don't know. It's almost as if he's been beaten to death with this lawn jockey.
See, lawn jockey. Before it sees you.
That was Jack. Love the popsicle detail. Only kids from the 70s would get that.
Ah, sweet Flopsy. Help me.
So this is Scott Crawl playing
The failure
Skullhedface.
of my plan was a total success.
The character design was mine. I sculpted it out of oil-based clay, which was
It is time.
not something I normally like to work with because it takes a really long time. And I did. It's been a long time. It's like a month.
That's when your
And
band was signed by
I brought in Nick Galatzine. I met him at a party in California, and I brought him in to put in animatronics.
You would trade in your individuality.
And originally, he was not going to have any upper lip. He was very teeth, like that. But Nick made a good point, which was that if we want to make him articulate his lips, articulate talking, it'll look better and work better if we have an upper lip that we can articulate. It's going to be like that. Here we go. Sebastian Bach. And dude, he was great. He did a 1.5-minute speech, and I wish we'd have left the whole thing in. It's kind of a shame we didn't, because the movie needed it. Anything to help it, really. And you got Sebastian Bach in your movie doing this great, really soliloquy. He lays it out like this is what's wrong with the rock and roll biz during the course of this speech. You got a gist of it there in that part. But yeah, we got Sebastian Bach to play that role, and I can't never forget meeting his girlfriend, wife, or whatever, who was a top shelf, I would say entertainment person, maybe possibly. I get the feeling like she used to perhaps performative dance was her occupation, possibly. But she wouldn't fit in our toilet. She had to go across the street to McDonald's. She couldn't bear to go into our bathroom. So gross, I guess. Oh, man.
It is done.
He
would have thought that a
we took him to a
creature like
we took him to
could hold so much gizmoglobin.
I think it was Sidewalks.
I tell you who, I, the insidiously evil Dr. Skulhedface.
And he urinated where he shouldn't.
Me, the rest of your crummy
I'm just gonna throw allegedly, even though it's true. Allegedly. He got pretty wasted, man. He strikes you as a permanent 13-year-old metalhead. Like it just 13-year-old still.
Break off
You know,
the top of the head and remove the
didn't stop growing until he got to be 6'4" and the head of a band like Skid Row. But still, very much a 13-year-old. Struck me as. In a good way, as much as a bad way, whatever you want to look at it.
Of the large intestine into the head.
Were the eyes remote control servos? Yeah, we had, I think, 8 servos. So all the eyes, you had this way, the servo for this way, and the servo for up down. Because they're connected together, right? And then we had 2 servos for this, and 2 servos for this. Right. And then we had a jaw connected. What is that? 6? Really? That's 6. We had the eyebrows doing that. No, that's 8. Yeah, we had 8. 2 for the eyebrows, 2 for the eyes, 2 for the upper lip, 2 for the lower lip, and then we had a chin extension
Public service announcement
off of the actor who would move the jaw up and down.
Sleazy P. Martini here. You know, a lot of people like to talk bad about moi. But so what? As long as I make a hefty
Thank you for following.
to this or that bogus charity, why I'm as good as you
Appreciate it.
Shit! I am your government! So come on!
Here we go. This is a Dave bit all the way.
Ever have suspected that our organization would
He
have
loves to
embraced
do
a
the-
member of GWAR? I'm sure I speak for
loves to-
all of you who, like
He
me,
loves to
have
do
had
the
murdered children
infanticide,
in
man.
their homes. When I say that Sleazy P. Martinis, ooh, generous package writes a new page between GWAR and old ladies everywhere.
Presenting the check for GWAR.
Oh my God! That's my son!
So horrible.
Hey, never let it be said Sleazy P. Martini's not a nice guy. Even though I'm not, just don't say it.
This is the blood going to, it's a similar gag in It's Sleazy. Well, Dave totally wrote It's Sleazy. All I did was show up and do my lines. That was somewhat disengaged from GWAR at that time.
I'm leaving on a world
I think Dave wrote that. Try to rebuild him and my relationship.
Never forget to marry him.
Observe, Doxy, the asinine antics of our soon-to-be sacked super rock stars. Only I would have 3 words for them. Pathetic. Only I, the insidiously evil Dr. So-and-so, possess the intellect to control the power they contain.
When this guy was on set, we basically had an issue. When the servos to the lips weren't working, then the jaw was. And when the jaw wasn't working, then the lips were working. Look at this old archaic Skullhedface. He was the 90s version. Yes, I sculpted him too.
Yes,
that was my first, and I did two cardinal sins. I did the 90s version, the mid 90s version, and the early 90s version.
Oh, great! Just great! Perfect! Really?
Mike Delaney did the first, and Dave Mussel did the second version.
Loyal and humble Skullhead. Perish the thoughts.
But one thing about Skullhead, the design, originally we were gonna be exactly like Binky the Brain in that Skullhead was gonna be real small, and his assistant was this big lurch-like character. And for some reason during character designs, during the different stages, we ended up deciding to go with the tall, lanky Skullhedface and the small assistant instead. Which, you know, I like Scott Krall's physical performance.
You understand nothing of my plans.
But, and I heard some complaints from people in that his performance is, his audio performance is a bit hard to understand at times. Some people kind of, I heard, you know, weren't exactly sure what he was saying a lot of times. And I think it was because he was trying so hard to create this really bizarre affectation the way he talked that it, understandability kind of suffered as a result. I wished someone had been there like Dave to coach him on his lines and really force him to make sure he was real nice and clear, you know.
To the glory that is the world maggot.
MST3K streams on Twitch 24/7, says Punches Couches, and that's great. That's great. And so does Riff Tracks. Weenie roast. Where's the line?
Weenie roast.
More proof
his.
of GWAR's incredible power. Unfathomless stupidity. The only point of their existence is to facilitate mine. Flopsy, activate Porno Plan 1.
Crow.
Now.
Joel, Servo, and Crow.
Hurry.
Yeah, Zarya. This whole film had a lot of weird, it was like precedence of the whole trans movement, you know. It's all here in this film. It's like we're way ahead of our time.
Why don't you just
we were just trying to make it seem like we were creating a sick universe, but
just think of me
you know, instead we were predicting the future. Robot roll call. Cambot, Gypsy, Tom Servo, Crow. 6 minutes are up. I can finally comment on Kit, says Sub-Zippo. Oh, thanks for subscribing.
Mr. Cake.
Mr. Cake.
Delighted you could join us. I do trust you've enjoyed the salivations of my unstyled assistant.
Hey, look, I know that kid's at least 18 years old. Besides, look at how he was dressed. He was asking for it.
Typical of your ilk. You fear petty legal repercussions. Fear not. Your fate shall be infinitely more sublime.
What do you know of my fate? Will
Dave
I
loved
always
that
be
word, sublime.
Lord?
I know. A thousand questions. But
Right there from Star Trek.
sit. Be comfortable.
Direct Star Trek reference. This is Tranya.
So, who the hell are you?
How inquisitive and delightful.
We put so much work into this set. One of the things that kind of bugs me about this film is that I wish the camera had pulled back a little more often to show the space that we had and the detail that was all around, you know. I mean, it was large. It filled this whole room. It's a 50-foot, you know. So, like, look at it. You can see in this circular shot, you make out that we got every square inch basically is you know, dressed and detailed. Once again, gotta hand out a ton of credit to Dave Muscle. Most of this is his, he's overseeing in detailing the set here. But it was everybody too. It was just a lot of people putting in who, an army of people who will, you know, didn't get any money from it. He did it for the love. See, I like this. There's so much detail going on, right? It's like too many tight close-ups. I felt like, you know, in the movie. Could have done a sci-fi movie with a set, says Bevel Blade, yeah. Although it should be comical, you know.
Some chaotic stupidity. I'll show you conflict management by my extensive supergeniosity.
Definitely Scott Crawl lyrics.
My secret lab.
I really like this song. This in a way was more the direction I wanted GWAR to go. Almost like it was a musical. Not just action put to metal and music, you know, rock, but actual, you know, an actual stage play practically.
If death to you is a bore, and life is just so slack, consider becoming a whore. Do the lesson of the
The song is GWAR's Bohemian Rhapsody. Someone should splice it into Wayne World. Hey, what a great idea. I don't know how what time it is. There's straws again. Mike Delaney in the middle. Came back and helped out in this movie. He's the one in the middle. The original Cardinal Sin executioner. Access to a whole bunch of VCU costumes. I think Danielle put that, designed a lot of the aspects of this part of the film. I feel like I wish I could stop the movie before this part comes out, but I'll try to explain my story best I can. But this monster, the flesh column, almost finished us because there was a real battle about how to go about designing the costume, the creature, and a lot of back and forth on it. And this guy Nick Galaxy, the one who helped with the effects for the servo effects on Skullhedface, it was his idea to build this kind of cage-like structure and strap a bunch of people to it, and then put all the guts ganglia and costume design all around that thing. And when it was all said and done, it was badly imbalanced. It had 5 people on the front, a whole bunch of counterbalance weight that was right behind them, and front casters that I welded the night before probably didn't do as good a job as I should have. Started cracking, and the whole thing was about to fall over flat like this. You'll see when the costume shows up, when the monster shows up. But just imagine, like 600-700 pounds of weight behind those people, that would have been on top of them. So this sketch Dave wrote with some help by me, and this is a joint effort. It's Amy Fisher.
Food. Sun. Days. Fun. Tits. Life's not like that. Life sucks. You need alcohol. You need it. You need more beer.
Here comes Dave Muscle. There's Chuck Varga. There's Mike Bonner. That's just basically a bunch of GWAR people out of costume there.
More beer.
And of course, John Durham again. He was always acting in our movies. I'm sure you recognize him from Phallus.
Children, have some more beer.
I'm hungry. Perfect. They're always on the go.
Always on the go.
Very good.
Hey, guys, you won't believe what's going on down here in the basement.
What's up, Beef?
Man, we got midgets down here.
Check it out. It's a full-on necro-bestial midget butt sex orgy.
Excellent idea. A final sampling of this planet's more miniature delight.
Classic muscle sound effects.
You guys are sick. But I do like to watch.
You could stay here with me, babe.
So, where are the midgets?
Let's see. How about this one?
That sleazy gif from Punch's Couches. Yeah. Weird how gifs happen. Or, they become memes, sort of. See that a lot.
Do you mind?
Once it becomes part of the language, then you see it all the time.
Look, there's a midget.
Idiots! Now the wheel has come full circle.
Sleazy callously rebuffed, says Zarya. I didn't write that. I don't think Sleazy would ever come on to somebody who thought was working for him. Not in his character.
Perhaps more accurately, the question should
But
be...
I was a team player, so I read the line.
But I don't expect
Is Danielle humorous in real life? Says Bevelblade. Somewhat. But she's fun.
Evil Dr. Professor Skulhedface. And you,
She's she likes to party, and she's fun, and she's a positive, you know, for the most part. She's not a crank, let's put it that way. She laughs a lot.
Consummate super genius.
My plan. My perfect plan, of which I will reveal.
Loved having 2010 Chamberlain to be able to film this thing. Great that we had this kind of space. So when I was talking about this costume, I did the outer skin and all, best way that we could. It's on this cage, and before we had even shot any of it, those front casters have started cracking, so we had to unload everybody from it and just put it on blocks and stand it up. In fact, the girl who was meant to play Marilyn Monroe, she's the clitoris center zombie character, she quit. She was like, no, fuck this, I'm out. I'm not gonna play this character. So we had to recycle Paige, who was one of the girls who was unveiling the cache. Gert, thank you. And this one guy brought all the pyro. He's the one who had the M4 you just saw firing. Boy, that was a pain in the ass to get to work while it was full of blanks. It was not a good gun to shoot with blanks. Had a tendency to jam a lot. Failure to feed, I think, was typical. Dexter stole Skullhead's kill room. Could be. GWAR's a great starting point for getting your own ideas. Like most people are, it's kind of obscure. Nobody really notices if you do take elements, and there's a lot there you can work with and extrapolate on. You know what I mean? Hey. The baby mortars, right? Shooting baby out of these big butts that are on the shoulders.
How's about a little piercing, Skullhead?
They spent forever making the molds for those hands. Funny how little time they actually spent in frame. If I had to do it over again, I'd have soft sculpted those things. Those molds were just an overly engineered waste of time. Yeah. There's the infamous Hitler head, penis, whatever you want to call it. And that was sculpted by this kid. We came and helped out. He's the one who did the little miniature skull head, and he did the Hitler head, undead Hitler, and he did a lot of really cool little sculpts. He did the scarring molds. He did a lot of tray molds. Beth 5. Thanks for subscribing, Beth. And Yeah, he's just a winner. He went on to go to Hollywood. Didn't do effects. He got into film production, and the more the bureaucratic sense than this. He just did the effects. I asked him, "Can you sculpt?" He said, "Yeah," and he was great. And it's not even his thing. Crazy. And then as soon as he was done, he didn't even pursue that. He just went on and did other stuff in Hollywood. Like, you gotta wonder when you run across somebody like that. It's like, I'm not surprised. He's a winner.
Is this what you like?
Gives an almost Silent Hill feel, says the Algrapha. Yeah, this is our Frankenstein, basically, at the time. And the premise was that, of course, Skulhedface has taken these undead parts and made something even much bigger, more monstrous than just, say, one regular human being. And, of course, these are all random humans from the past. That's why one's a Civil War soldier, one's a Viking, one's a Vietnam veteran. Doesn't make any sense. Like, how could a Viking still be intact, you know? Like, what?
A rather inaccurate one. You see, it is you who is.
Love the 8-ball detail there. Gotta be a Chuck Varga detail there. Custom culture.
You master. You all I got.
Hey Sleazy, why not you not laying down support fire? Because Sleazy doesn't know this is going on. Sleazy does the coup de grace. He comes out in a second, in case you were wondering. Corny Dave, Star Trek editing and writing. So now it's the Gizmoglobin draw. You gotta figure, if a regular rock star like Sebastian Bach has a lot of Gizmoglobin, GWAR must have endless amounts.
I stand poised.
I shall suck you dry, GWAR. You're pathetic, world maggot, and in turn the entire human race. Flopsy, your death shall be avenged 10,000-fold. GWAR, I suck you.
In keeping with its policy of inserting commercials,
This is my sketch.
moments, Slate Television brings you this.
It was the punchline is ruined, but yeah. And I had to fight to get it in. Dave loved it, and so he managed to talk the rest of it in there, but the cinematographer was gay, and he took it the wrong way. And he didn't want it in there. And the erstwhile director that Dave put in charge, she agreed with him because she was sucking up to him. That's Liz. That's our. That's at that point in time. That's our actual manager. But the joke was supposed to be a guy. He puts down the iced tea and then he turns around and reveals that he's got a mustache. You know, so up until the point where he looks in the camera and smiles, you don't know it's a man. It's supposed to be a trans dresser man, and they cut that out. They just made them regular people. And I just fucking hated that. It's like ruin the joke. You know, it's supposed to be a trans man standing there. So this whole concept that comes up, it's part of the whole GWAR lore, like basically our universe.
Oh shit.
These are all kids of friends, or our kids, one or the other.
Hey, where's Skullhead anyway?
So this is a parody of the aliens from, what is it, Star Trek episode, The Menagerie. And we always used to laugh about those butt-headed aliens, you know, in Menagerie. The ones that could weave an illusion with their minds.
By stealing
And
your powers,
so,
I felt that I could be fulfilled.
Yeah.
But my super geniosity has
Chuck and I
transcended
helped
boundaries.
kind of design
My
this
motives are
whole
laid bare.
idea of
My lust for revenge.
this alien species that was
suffering
like
I've
this.
caused.
And then, of course, Dave
because I
jumped
dared to
on
crave
and
the
he added all his love of Star Trek and writing.
Gee, Skullhead, we liked you better the other way.
Really?
Sure.
Skullface was my kind
That
of guy.
appliance looked
Yeah, been trying to
huge
kill us.
seam line.
Great
And somehow
time together.
Nick did a good job of
Really?
transitioning that. Really, that's like a 1/4 inch
Well,
thick,
let me
man. He
just-
managed to transition and make that seamless, which is amazing. Which is returning all her gizmo globin and gave GWAR their old bodies back.
We got our bodies back.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo. Woo, hubba hubba without a rubber. Skullhead, baby.
Do you like?
We never knew you was a dame.
Well, let's go.
You ain't going nowhere. Come here.
Hey, me first.
Oh, you can't. You're opening.
We did it first. We were breaking all the barriers. We were woke before woke even existed. Slut. So gratuitous.
We interrupt this gang race with an update on our Magathon. The Maggots are receiving a
I didn't know this was going on. Yes, I was late. Zyographa. I was upstairs counting money. And then I came down to check on the band after all that rigmarole went down. All right, old man urinary issues. I'll be right back.
You guys can't run out on me. I'm your fucking manager.
Quickly, we've got a maggot to catch.
Maybe there's 2 world maggots.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, GWAR, that's really too bad. Maybe you just better get back on tour. Well, that's the end of our broadcast day. Well, don't touch that dial. Uncle Sleazy's got a little surprise for you. Something we call the homogenized.
Back now.
Where was the premiere? We never had a premiere. Real. It was sad, man. We should have had a theatrical release. Should have done one with Trauma. You know, that was such a, in a lot of ways, it was such a frustrating experience. You know, that Bobby said it planted the seeds of you know, us, a lot of people eventually losing interest in GWAR. That might be true, Chuck. I wasn't over it at that point, but what we expected it to be like, how we expected it to be, you know, it definitely didn't turn out as we hoped it would. And that it was typical of a lot of it was typical of a lot of GWAR projects, because basically everybody has kind of a different idea of what GWAR is supposed to be like. You know, what conceptually GWAR is supposed to be like. And that, in a way, is what makes it cool, as well as polarizing. You know, is that there's a sort of there is a chaotic feel to it. We call Dave the Lord of Chaos for a reason, you know. And to a certain extent, these kind of projects reflected his sort of chaotic method of control. But we went 20,000 over budget. Nick Galtine took over for a while, and then finally somebody came in to check the money, and I had initially put in, the first budget was 115 to 120, and they just made me scale it back till I could get the money from GWAR. All I did was shave some stuff back here, there, random, and so I got the movie budget down to 100, but it was a lie. I knew it was going to go over, and it did. And Nick Galtine came in and took over basically the effects budgeting for a while, and he just started treating things like, you know, like it was just like it was any kind of movie budget. And those, you know how most movies are meant to be. That he's just used to a world where it's meant to go over budget. It's like it's not coming out of his pocket. It's just, you know, it's just the studio. So, you know, you're bound to go over, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But he didn't understand. It's like, no, this is all our money. It's like as if it was coming right out of my pocket, you know, and all the other members of GWAR. So finally, this guy Randy came to me and said, "This guy is blowing our budget," and he put me back in control. And sure enough, my initial first estimate of 120 was what it turned out to be. That's what it cost. And you know, Metal Blade wasn't thrilled, you know, but they grudgingly came through and finished it, you know, and paid it. I credit to them for that. I don't even remember this. There's our director right there. She's the one that's just right over my shoulder. Yeah, I don't know why I never noticed that before. It's sort of a little cookie. A little whatever. Solid album. I've listened to it repeatedly before I can move on. I have to listen to it repeatedly before I can move on. You know, it's funny because I was thinking that that Toilet Earth came before America Must Be Destroyed. It was almost like a Mandela effect when I was looking around doing a little bit of research for the for these episodes, and I was trying to remember which album was concurrent with Skullhedface, and I thought it was America Must Be Destroyed. I thought Toilet Earth was Phallus, but no, I had it reversed. But Toilet Earth, man, ugh. Another terrible album cover. Another terrible album cover. Set your heart, you know it to be true. You know, this Dave is like, I know this guy can do Photoshop. I don't know why. That was a big deal at the time. Like, literally, that was a big deal at the time. Like, holy cow, he had to go up to DC, you know, to do Photoshop. GWAR with Dave Brocky was brilliantly, unpredictably, beautifully, mischievously grotesque, slapstick, clowny, self-depreciating comedy. Takes the edge out of metal punk, gone too cynical. This is Robbie's Little Shadow. Yeah, exactly, that's what it was. Initially, it was a lot of it was Dave's response to a punk scene in DC that didn't really accept him. You know, not saying that, you know, it was his concept, because it's just as much Hunter's, but you know, a lot of it is that it's, you know, Dave was somebody who you know, he loved to be the clown. He didn't mind it at all. He loved to make fun of punk, the scene in general, because it was, you know, very much taking itself too seriously. Especially when he had guys like Ian MacKaye and the straight edge philosophy and things like that. So yeah, he wasn't particularly well accepted, you know, up there, and so he ended up going to art school down in, I think it was Longwood or something like that, college, and then from there, which is a weird little college, and then from there he transferred to VCU, and then he embedded himself in the punk rock scene down here, and you know, he kind of rubbed a few scenesters down here the wrong way, because there was still some of that. The White Cross crowd took their punk rock real seriously, and the GWAR crowd that came along, you know, didn't. And you know, it was just the same old punk rock, same old hardcore, kind of. And so naturally, you know, word spread a little bit nearby, but White Cross, they did a national tour. You know, anyone can, if you're willing to pay for the gas and get to the next club, and enough people show up, you get to another club and pay for the gas, you can do it. But it never went anywhere. So GWAR became part of that whole post-punk kind of like disintegration, if you want to call it, or dispersion, you know, of the punk rock scene. It went in all kinds of directions after that. It went all kinds of directions. You can hear GWAR part of several parts of it. GWAR was, to me, as much part of the grunge punk, you know, sound. Musically, when you think about it. They did not play, even though we kind of wanted to, or hoped it would sound like we did. The band did not play, you know, Metallica style chunk-a-chunk, Slayer type chunk metal, you know. It wasn't in them. Not their thing. I don't know if they Ottinger seemed to think they couldn't do it. I saw White Cross in Stamford. Wow. Connecticut. That's crazy. Yeah. Dan Seitz did all the Rich Kids LSD art and also GWAR Toilet Earth album cover. Look it up. Great artist. Yeah, Dan Seitz did it with Dave Bronke. I was just pissing all over that album cover. I'm sorry. He may be a great artist, but I do not consider Toilet Earth a great album cover. I'm sorry. Where is it? Where is it, man? It was always too small. That's it. It's not any bigger than this. Fuck it. Yeah. Obviously not a the full understanding of how to work in Photoshop wasn't apparent yet. It's funny too because it wasn't really in. It was by the time Ragnarok came around, but Dave had he got wasted on crank while doing this. He got into one of his crank obsession phases. He'd do that on occasion. He'd turn out some terrible art while on a crank obsessed binge. And he said I wanted the scale to be huge. It's like it looks like it's an ant circus. It's a flea circus, man. That's what I called it. I called it a flea circus. You couldn't see anything. I said, Dave, it's going to be on 4x4. It's going to be on a 4x4 CD on a rack. Think about that. You want art to, you want art to catch people's eye. You got to consider the fact that it's a 4x4, little CD. Not some huge poster that they can sit there and stand up close to it. It's not going to get displayed like that. But Dave, great artist, great comic artist, but when it came to actually designing graphics, I hated his stuff. I didn't like it. He just so complicated. So pizza. I said it before. It's pizza. But what the hell? Wasn't meant to go on a anti-Dave Bronke album art diatribe. It wasn't even that. He wasn't. He did do the Toilet Earth. That's why I went on that diatribe. But yeah. Anyhow. It's funny, I was looking around, I found a whole bunch of cool art and production. Here is the Skulhedface. This is a mock-up, more or less. It's taken from the same mold, and it is the body that we used for the murder of. It was the stage version, so we would mount this on top of the stage version of the flesh column, and which was a 3-person costume instead of what we had. It was a 5-person death trap. We made it to a 3-person costume. It was relatively light. But this is the part that got ripped off the top of the flesh column. He was supposed to be control the flesh column, and they ripped him off of that. But that's closer. That was the color scheme I originally envisioned, and Nick Galatzine insisted on making him this kind of like mummified, a boring kind of brown. I felt that was him. He insisted on painting it. And he went for that color scheme. And when we did the stage version of it, I took him to the colors that I originally envisioned. But wish I could blow this up. I guess I can't. I don't even know how to work this site. It's like, you got a picture here. It looks cool. And I can't even, widen it out. But anyways, This is the stage version. I'm up here behind Skulhedface, and this is Bob Gorman. And he did the hands, and I did the body. The premise was, we stole that idea. Remember I was talking about the idea from some of the costumes we saw in Japanese tokusatsu, shows. And one of them was this hand. It was a guy who was actually, it's all the fingers were, fingers and legs were part of his costume, and he had his hands and arms inside the fingers, and he was his hand running around. And we just fell all over ourselves in admiration of the sheer Dada-esque absurdity of that, So we had to, basically, we thought it was he came up with this suggestion that that's how these hands would work. And that way, this character didn't have to support or try to manipulate these hands. They were basically fully independent. They were operated by two other actors. And I played the flesh column on stage and was able to just concentrate on operating that center core, which was make the mouth move, run around, and operate the spewing Hitler head, right? And the Hitler head would come out of the vagina lips and spray everybody. Here's a production drawing that I did of it. This is the stage version, and basically that's exactly the way it came out. This is how we planned it. This is where the Bobby Gorman arms, the arms would join on to, right? And some cool production sketches here. I don't know where all these came from. Looks like graphics from different things. Cool. Anyhow, not from Skulhedface though. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And take a couple cannonballs and then head on out. Call it a night. This was my favorite episode so far, Sleazy Hemorrhoid. Well, that's great. Thanks. That's cool. Appreciate it. I have a ton of questions, Don. Rune, fire away. I'm here. I'm now. I'm what's happening. Do you guys ever sell props? Sorry if you already said. I have a few things that I make from GWAR molds that I have. But you'd have to talk to the band, and it's a crying shame the way they treat the shit. They just shove it into plastic Tupperware, which means that the pieces are crushed. And eventually what happens once they go through heat and cold and heat and cold over and over again, those pieces lose their shape first, and then they start this ooze. Latex begins to decay and liquidate. It's sad. Liquefy. It's a shame, and that stuff should have been sold off and given to people. At least it would have been better preserved if it was part of people's collections. That's one of the things I like about AJ Good. Is that if I sell him something, he takes damn good care of it. It's beautifully displayed and beautifully taken care of, and I know people are going to be able to see it. So some people might buy some of these things and they're going to stay in their room, which is fine. At least, I'm glad that they're taking care of it. But I like the fact that somebody likes to show the pieces to the public, and people get to see it. Do you think there will be any future GWAR films with CGI and bigger, better, intense budgets someday, sooner or later, says Robbie Little Shadow? Maybe. I'm not in the, I'm not really I'm not an active member, so I don't know what they're talking about as far as that goes on. I haven't heard anything. I think it's ridiculous that they haven't, and it shows kind of the directionlessness of the organization, because you've got the equipment now. I mean, digital cameras look every bit as good or better than film. And you have, of course, tabletop editing, and there's quite a few people can do that at the Slave Pit. And you could have crowdfunded it. If it cost money, you could have crowdfunded something for 30, 40 grand, and you could have knocked it out in a month. And if it was written cleverly, it probably would have made some money, and people would have liked it. You could have self-released. You know, I went through a lot of frustration towards the end there. I tried to get them to do GWAR TV. Now, I wasn't going to sit there, I didn't want to be the station manager and sit there and stand over them and make them produce the content. I basically said, hey, please, all you have to do is upload this content, you know, whatever you do, whatever you make, just upload it to this server, and then we'll take care of the rest. They didn't do shit. And I sold subscriptions to it and tried to, you know, I never got one penny, by the way, from GWAR TV. I paid, the producer who works on this show, I paid him off and on to do, to upload and build the channel, which he did. But at that point, you know, I think the rest of the members had developed an ambivalence toward me, and me towards the band concept itself. I thought a Roku subscription channel would have done all right. It certainly did, money-wise, was doing a fuck ton better than that YouTube channel that they built. And then they went ahead and built a YouTube channel, and were putting really way too much work into what they were going to get out of it. I knew that what was going to happen. I had already had a little bit of experience and knew that they were going to, you know, get all excited, put a ton of work into these shows, and then the views were going to be average, and they wouldn't keep up. They wouldn't keep up, because that's what's, you know, that's what YouTube, internet entertainment is all about. Like Stalin says, quantity has a quality all of its own, and they didn't have the quantity. I just didn't stick with it. And so I don't remember. You remember Live from the, what was it? I even did a few episodes. You know, I hosted a few episodes. But, you know, I didn't enjoy certain aspects of it. Like, it happened to be during the fucking Summer of Love. And, you know, political differences were apparent to me. You know, and it's like, okay, all right. When we did the fuck the police, you know, that was like, I ain't feeling it. I don't feel it. You know, repetition is the bedrock of authentic art. Yeah, true, because I would think that you shows your commitment, and that you're doing it for the love and not just for the, you know, the clicks or whatever. But hey, even if you are doing it for the clicks, you know, it's a grind. As I've found out doing these streams, it's a grind. And if you don't stay with it, people are going to go, what happened to him? And they're going to drift off. And then that's it. You can lose a lot of work that, you know, the effort, you waste a lot of effort if you don't keep up with it. Let those people start drifting away. A Short History of the World, End of the World Part 7 is on top 5 best GWAR songs ever, says Rune Chaos. I love that song, and that was supposed to be Cardinal Sin's theme, and I was always mad that they switched him out and it became Surf of Sin, which is it's an okay song, though I didn't really feel like it was, ideal for GWAR, you know. I think it was for that, especially that Surf of Sin video, right? And so, you know, but that got turned into History of the World, and it became part of the Master, the album with the Master on it, which is really our worst heavy. Master is, you know, that is classic. Too many chefs in the kitchen. The Master, if you remember that, and then went taking it out live on stage. When we were you know, brainstorming the Master, when that was happening, Dave really wanted to be eaten by the Master and then be shit out of his ass. That was what he wanted to do. And you've seen Dave's costume. Like, what kind of rectum could he fit out of? How big would something have to be for him to come out of its ass? I mean, the World Maggot has a alimentary canal. That's how we would get the chicks under the drum riser and back to backstage. It was great. It was great. But they get low. They don't have any spikes on their shoulders. They're not wearing spiky helmets or whatever. And they crawl on their hands and knees without any costume on. Just regular street clothes. Doable. But Otis Urungus getting birthed out of an ass? Holy shit. So, yeah, eventually it took a while. That was finally shot down, you know. That was often a lot of how things would work out. Is like you'd have a grandiose Dave idea, and then you'd have reality. Like, no, this is what we can do. You know, this is what we can do. I remember it was Lust in Space stage show. It was the last one I really helped concept and write, you know, as a band member. The Lust in Space show. And Dave brought forward this plot, and it was just like, what? Like, this has to take place on a stage in a rock show. This is not like real-time, instant green screen, you know, special effects world that we can actually fly through space, you know. And so, you know, me and Matt had to basically rewrite it. We took it and we rewrote it, you know, story synopsis, not the actual lines and all that, but, you know, redescribed it so like, oh, okay, this is how we can do this on stage. But that was not unusual way of things getting done, especially later on. As time went on, Dave got more and more kind of disconnected from reality. As you can imagine, the logistics of that asshole's incomprehensible, says Bling Django. Yes, the Master has a butt, says Kurt W. That's what he says. He really wanted to make that a big part of the odorous Master confrontation. Oh, man. The last best album? What was that? Rune Chaos. Where's Zog? Oh, you mean Lust in Space? Yeah. Had a lot of fun working on models, which you couldn't see real well the way they ended up being used in the live show. But I'm glad that I got to record that show and edit it. You know, it's sad. GWAR rarely has good versions, good live taped versions of their shows. And considering how much work they put into them, how much effort went into it, it's kind of a shame, you know, kind of a shame. So I'm happy about having done 5 good GWAR shows, right? I captured that era. That's my favorite musically. Maybe not stage-wise my favorite era, but my favorite era musically, which was, you know, 2002 to 2011. The middle decade with Corey Smoot. Magnets, I bet. Magnets, yeah, that'll hold the anus together. Really like how they use synthesizers in their Lust in Space album, says Inferno. Yeah, they missed that that soundscape. I missed that from the '90s era GWAR, as they lost us the sound effects, the soundscape around the band when they were playing live. That was Dave Muscle, and when he left, that left for the most part. If a kick streamer wanted to screen a GWAR movie for an audience that aren't necessarily fans of the band, which would you recommend? I don't know. I guess Skullhead or Phallus. They're both real weird. They're both really, I want to say colorful, because that sounds like a good thing. But they're really jacked. The color is jacked. You know, it seemed to be the style. GWAR's color is jacked. Would have answered your question on Twitch, but verified accounts only, says Dermo. Well, can you write on Kick or Twitch? You're writing on Kick now, that's right. He's reading some comments from YouTube. Wouldn't let me post a link. I'm sorry, Dermo. You got a link you can post in Kick? I'll go there. Sorry, I didn't get around to this Kick comment. You probably wrote it. Oversaturated. Yeah, Blank Django, exactly. All about Blank Django's oversaturation. I love the old muscle laugh track, says Rad Young. He meticulously went through and found sound effects and clipped our favorite movies. There's a lot of Three Stooges, a lot of Evil Dead 2 and 3. A lot of those in there. Porn. And gosh, only he would know. You know, if you go through it, meticulously explain everything that's in there, each one. But yeah, Evil Dead and Three Stooges, a big portion of that. Do you know who Turdzilla ended up being or was? Yeah. Steven. We kind of knew all along, but is he still doing anything? Is he still like calling me a fag or whatever? Like he used to. He had it out for me in particular. I think I shit on him in an interview or something. I don't know. Or might have said something. But I got tired of what he was saying, so I looked him up and tried to visit him at his house. I don't know if it was his house. It was somebody who related to him, because I said, do you know where he is? And he says, she seemed to think, she's told me he wasn't here. But she was like, she knew. She knew who he was. It wasn't like she didn't know. She looked nervous. She looked nervous. But I've just, then I lost interest in it after that. It was a long, long time ago. Long time ago. Don looks like Bruce Campbell. I do not. Bruce Campbell. What the fuck are you talking about? I've been compared to a lot of people and they make sense, but not Bruce Campbell. I've heard the Nuts for Nats song, baseball team nationals. Have fun, go nuts. I thought that was the Richmond Squirrels, Flying Squirrels. I'll play it. Have fun, go nuts. I didn't know the Nationals had that nuts song. Where is it? Let's see. I don't know why I got wild hair up my ass to hear this song. All right, Richmond Flying Squirrels song. There it is. Hype video. Is this the song? Hail to the... Did they change it? Hype video. The Richmond Flying Squirrels. I don't know if this is it. Hail to the Flying Squirrels. This is... This is it. This is not it. Have fun, go nuts. I gotta write that. Have fun, go nuts. Is this it? No. The fuck? Oh, you're gonna make me watch commercials. You bastards. Well, there goes my audience. I've lost them all now. Thanks, YouTube. Yep, this is not it. Here it is. There you go. You said nuts. Said nuts. Yeah. You turd sucks. I agree. They obviously are meticulously working its way into subscription only. And I think about how YouTube was 10 years ago and how it is now. Like, they'll run a commercial in the first 2 minutes of something. 2 to 3 minutes. They'll start off with a commercial. Then they'll have a commercial in 2 or 3 minutes on top of that. And then, I don't know, another 2 during the course of a 10, 15 minute bit. Like, damn. You guys suck. You really want me to pay for that commercial-free YouTube, don't you? Fuck you, I'm not going to do it. And I feel like, I've said this before, I feel like for me, YouTube, I'm like the dog whose master died, and I go every day to the same bus stop and wait for him, thinking he'll be back. Every day I'm there, waiting for him to come back. Just out of habit. I don't know what else to do. It's all I know. YouTube. I go, oh yeah, I gotta go to the other platforms. If I want some good shit, there you go, other platforms. And then start meticulously thinking about, But I'll watch a couple of YouTube channels, what's left of it, the desolate leftovers, decimated leftovers of YouTube, right? You can still see, what's his name? The English guy, Paul Joseph Watson. He'll, even though he's going to sell me some Ginsu knives or whatever, I'm still like, you're still cool, Paul Joseph. It's okay if you sell me Ginsu knives. I don't mind as much. So, got any of that really cool stuff? That's how he'd trick you. Why don't you come on over with all your cool pot, man? Wow, he really likes my pot. I'm so flattered. I'm going to come over and work for him as well while I get him high. For me, the gun channels and car stuff like Doug DeMuro. I go through cycles, Aurora, and yeah, I do some gun stuff, but it is tedious. I'm more interested in historical, like Gun Jesus, whatever that guy, the auction dude. I like those because he's really detailed about, the history of the gun and stuff like that. And he does do some shooting. But shooting through gel blocks with fake skeletons in it, I've seen it a couple times. It's like, yeah, it's a military, military powerful gun. It's a military grade, whatever. It's going to do some damage. I've seen this before. All right. Kentucky Ballistics. Yeah. Forgotten Weapons. That's it. That's Gun Jesus there. You can tell he's a liberal. He'd probably be okay with the 2A getting thrown in the trash. It's like, I'll have a special license. I work for this auction house, so I get to handle this stuff. But him and his friend, they did the mud test, and boy, that blew everybody away. They meticulously went through assault rifle after assault rifle and did the mud test. AR-15, number one. Who knew, right? Who knew? In that situation, though, mud, right? But what'd that guy say? Gotta keep it wet. M16, like it'll do good if it's wet. Can't let it get dry. Don't let it get dry. But no, AK, jam, one round. One round off and then jam. All of them did. All the great, supposedly way better, more reliable, cooler weapons. The G3, the FN, FAL, all those other great assault rifle types. And they all... M1 Garand, won World War II. Grandpa toted that fucking beast around. And mud, oh, of course. Some mud on that. C's. Imagine Sleazy at the range with Brandon Herrera. This is Noiles. I'd love to. I'd shoot all those gangster weapons. Right? Ingram MAC-10s, Uzis, guns like that. Small submachine guns. Glocks with the auto. The stupid drum. the drum feed. Oh, man. Yeah. There's only one gun that really never jams. And it was the first one. Hiram Maxim. That elf made the most reliable machine gun ever. A little heavy. You want to carry around a water jacket. A little heavy, but never stop firing. As long as you keep water in that sucker. Gun Jesus would be a great GWAR character. We already used him, kind of. We got Hitler Jesus or whatever, right? Two-faced. that Beyond Hell stage show. That was fun. That's like, might be my, I don't know. I think, in a lot of ways, it's my favorite character design was Jucifer. Dave's concept all the way. But at first we were, we were brainstorming the concept for that, the design, and, the stuff that other people were coming up with was sort of like a little bit too on the nose, if you know what I mean. A little bit too on the nose. It was like something you would see out of, Nazi propaganda. Nazi propaganda poster. And I said, let's take it in a much more alien-esque, and I drew, influences from, what, the Skeksis or whatever. Was that Crystal? Dark Crystal? The hell, why won't this play? Gee, I didn't even remember this channel. Yeah. So, and then, of course, the spider, arachnid, 8 eyes, decided to have that. And, come on. God damn. Won't even play. Why? YouTube, what's wrong with you? I guess I could go back, look for a different version of it. I don't know if it's this version won't play or what. Fuck you, man. This is playing better. No, it's on Hyperreal as well. Anywho. I'll just stop it so you can see a freeze frame of it there. But, yeah, I said, no, you know what? We're not gonna look like Shylock. You're gonna avoid that. We're gonna do everything else. It's gonna become more abstraction. An abstraction is what we were gonna go for. We decided to go with. So yeah, I had a lot of fun designing this character. I thought it was really great. Our big fuck up with this character, and I noticed the giant monster they did as of recent for this last tour. Same problem. There's a magic point where if you make arms too long, because what he's got, he's holding on to some bars. I should put my hands on the thing. He's holding on some pipes that are inside these arms, right? And then they're extensions. Those are extensions off of that. If it reaches a certain amount of weight and length past your hand, you become completely feeble. You can't lift your arms. You can't make the thing believable. You can see how he's always resting his arm on the, he's got to rest this hand on one of the mic stands, or what is it called, a mic vanity stand that we had. I don't know why this won't play for shit, but that was an issue that happened just recently. I noticed. I was like watching some old footage of the new monster. It looks like Blothar, like an oversized Blothar, and yeah, I could tell right away. I was like, made the arms too long. Cardinal Sin, magic. Hunter was really good at knowing that magic line. He kept his pipes in, didn't have them as far out. That's the secret. You really only extend it a little bit past the hand. Does anybody care? I care, Sleazy. Anyhow. But design-wise, I love that character, man. Mr. Perfect, same thing. I did Mr. Perfect's head, just saying. That was my sculpt. The rest of the body, other people. But the big monsters, usually I had something to do with almost every one of them. Up until after 2017. Then I was just pretty much done. Was it 2017? I forgot when the last one was. They had Ms. Bosglom or something like that, whatever her name was. I don't know if you recall that. Ms. Bosglom, I forgot what her name was, but it was like a revisit of Glomco. We went back to that thing. I didn't conceptualize that at all. Yeah, but I worked on the exoskeleton, and it was a boondoggle in a lot of ways. I helped with a lot of the character redesigns, like for instance Blothar on that tour. We unveiled a new Blothar body. That's the one he has now. Matt redid the mask and the head, and I gave him a new torso. And that ate up a lot of time. Anyhow, did GWAR make you rich? Thanks, Aurora Sonic. I guess it did. Rich in friends. Rich in memories. Rich in, I don't know, brain cells lost. You can make me rich, Aurora. My first GWAR show at 2014, OKC, and Odorous beat Super Cyborg Jesus. Yeah, that was Mr. That part of that Mr. Perfect thing, wasn't it? Yeah. All right, Quinn and Mojo, good to see you here. Greeting crackheads. Hope all's well. Glad to see you made it. Thank you for all your continued support. Everybody else, thank you for your support. Much appreciated. We go roll through the Rumble and just catch and see if I missed anybody. User not found. Oh damn, I'm late. Fucking love this movie. It's either this or the other one. Yeah. Okay. Ep911, thank you. Ep911 again. Hot shot with the budget. Thank you. Here's a 5. Rosaria, thank you. Blue, thank you. Steve D, thank you. All you people on Twitch who contributed, thank you. All you people who attended and participated on Kick, thank you. Hit like, everybody. This is the real. Yeah, appreciate it. I'll get guests on. I keep talking this bullshit, but I will be having guests on in the future. And we'll probably just re-dive into some of these movies, you know, and get try to get their input and experience out of it, right? Because everybody of course, has different memories and different experiences. A lot of things I haven't long forgotten or just didn't remember, you know, it didn't sink in at the time. Hopefully we'll be able to pull up some of that. Cannonball cries dirt. Gert. All right, I'll do that. We got some great movies coming up. Of course, I'll be on Rumble tomorrow night, and then Sunday, I'm running Green Lantern. Yes, that's right. That superhero piece of shit, Green Lantern. I've got another real stink bomb waiting behind that one on the next 3D cinema. But yeah, join us this Sunday. I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I am laughing. Just thinking about Green Lantern. What's that hoser's name? What's that hoser's name? He's always trying to sell me his Cricket freaking phone service. Right? Yes. Ryan Reynolds at his apex. Don, how tall are you? I could be mistaken, but if I remember correctly, you portrayed Nigel Ponce and he towered above Rico. 6'3". 6'3" and some change. 6'3" and a quarter or something like that, if you want to be. But I'm sure I shrinky-dinked over the years. I've shrinky-dinked some. You know, as you get old, I see your vertebrae compress. Your vertebrae compress. Compression. Deadpool. Not running Deadpool. And we're getting back in touch with what 3D cinema is all about. We want to run big budget bombs. And man, if I got a bomb coming after Green Lantern next week that I've warned people about, I've threatened people about for months, if not years. Finally, I'm gonna do them in. I'm gonna fucking hit them with the super stink bomb of all time. Big budget too. Big budget. All right, Cannonball, ready? 3, 2, 1. Ryan Reynolds was the gayest Deadpool. Well, I mean, who else has played Deadpool? Magumba, besides Ryan Reynolds. Anybody? I mean, isn't the comic version the only other version? Don, what vapes you use? California Honey's one of them. There's another one, Mad Labs. And this one's Zaza. This one looks like something some ghetto chick would pull out of her purse, right? Yo, give me a hit of that. Believe it or not, never vaped. Yeah, well, it's not my first choice, honestly. It's not. I'd rather go natural, but it's impractical in a lot of ways, unfortunately. And I wish they'd make it taste like natural instead of all these. Stop trying to make it taste like goddamn cake. Smoke cake. It's all, ugh. It's all like goddamn air freshener. I feel like I'm smoking horrible air freshener. Go pipe tobacco, man. No, pallet. I can't smoke up here in the office. Can't smoke real smoke. I'm allowed to get away with a vape. I can't smoke for reals, yo. I hate every commercial I see him in now. Isn't he the perfect dude? He's that perfect, nice guy. The kind that chicks claim they want, instead of the Chad that's going to pump and dump them. But, he'd do that. That's what he would be. He would be the guy who seemed like the nice one who still pumps and dumps you. Planet of the Vapes. Good bit, Thrasquatch. Make it happen. Battlefield Earth, to real? I ran it. Should have been there. Ran Battlefield Earth, and that was very riffable. We had a lot of fun with that one. People had a lot of fun with that one. The most memorable, still one of the most memorable to me was I Am Legend with Will Smith. Just because that film made everybody... It's so frustrating. So fucking frustrating to watch that movie. It was so stupid. It was not enjoyable laughter riffing. It was more like angry ranting riffing was going on. It's like, this is stupid. This sucks so bad. Why do you do this? CGI zombies. Arr. I was like, oh. But you gotta say, they ruined that thing. You had zombies. You had post-apocalyptic world. Man trying to survive on his own. And you managed to fuck it all up. I mean, that you can't lose with that formula, and somehow they did. I can't get over it, man. I Am Legend was bad, but at least he dies at the end. Gert W., we even ruined that. So we ran the director's rewrite or whatever. He drives off with the girl, and they go to find some other part of civilization that's still alive. You know, I guess that making more sense when having him die when he rages and knocks the food that he's been given by the woman, you know, all over the place, screaming, "There's no one else, there's no one else, there's no one else," right? That makes more sense, kind of character arc wise, that he would die, you know, as the martyr. That's the whole thing about that. You gotta have it. The character has to die as a martyr. It's always worked that way. The Vincent Price version and the Charlton Heston version. You can't have him driving off into the sunset. It sucked because the dog died. Well, everybody always cares more about animals than people in the films. We don't care about people in films. Most of the time. We don't give a shit. But, yeah. Dog die? Just like Road Warrior's dog died. I'll never get over that. I'm still crying. Road Warrior's dog took an arrow for him. What a dog. That's the dog you need if you're going to survive the apocalypse, man. Yep, dead dog in movie, the heartache ploy. Zolfman. Yeah, it's too easy. You know what it is. But we come to expect and not care that much about a human dying in a film. But pets, we instantly project our own, you know, human-animal relationship onto it. Right? Oh, that could be Scruffy. I love Scruffy. If that happened to my Scruffy, I don't know what I'd do. Hey, your wife, we found her. She's been thrown in a wood chipper. Oh, shit. Well, serves her right. She didn't know how to work that equipment anyways. I told her not to. How about Road Warrior 1? I haven't run that yet. I don't like Road Warrior 1 for some reason that much. I don't know why. Because I saw Road Warrior 2 first. That's the main reason. I got to run Clockwork Orange. That's what we got to watch. We got to watch Clockwork Orange, and I'll just play air hockey with it. I like to just transition off of Twitch for a lot of things. I can get away with whatever I want on Rumble, but Twitch, just like, oh, God, it's like a daycare center full of rainbow Nazis, man. Fury Road is great. I disagree, Pallid Mask. I will disagree. Blazing Saddles is not bad. We mean to do, you know, exploitation, sleazy pictures is one thing. It fits neither, really. I veer off though quite a bit. But 3D cinema is meant to be kind of big budget bombs. Blazing Saddles was a middle budget hit and a legend. Cherry 2000 with Don Johnson. I got that. That's ready to go. It's loaded in the chamber. But we're going to go Green Lantern. And then, no, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what comes after Green Lantern because I want you to show up. It's like when somebody throws a party and they say, I got a surprise friend I'm bringing over. And the reason why you say it's a surprise friend is because you know it's somebody they hate. Somebody they hate. You want people to show up for the party, so you just say it's a surprise. It's like, oh, that asshole. You brought that asshole here? They would never have come if they'd have known. So that's the plan. SLC Punk. in 3D. I'll look that up. All right, crackheads. Oh, man. I just betrayed myself. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. And let me say that I'll see you tomorrow night. And I will see you... Shoot, I forgot to record this episode. I got to download it from YouTube. Never as good. Anyways, I will see you tomorrow night on Rumble and the usual, and then back on Twitch on Sunday. Green Lantern, Sleazy P Martini, a chicken. Oh no! Once again, not supposed to.